Is May 17th, 2021, and our 6 o'clock meeting here at Rowan County Commission. Welcome. It's good to see bodies in the audience today, smiling faces, and we appreciate you being here with us tonight. It's been the tradition of this board and boards all across the country. We begin with a couple of things. We're going to have a Pledge of Allegiance. We're also going to have what's called a solemnizing prayer. By definition, that prayer is not for you all, it's for us. What the commissioners do and the responsibilities and decisions we have to make, we take really seriously. And so we seek wisdom in those decisions because we genuinely want to do what's in the best interest of the community. So we'll get started, commissioners, if you'll join me.
Well, I'm fixing to pray, but I don't know which group I fit in, but some people look better with their mask on than off. So I don't know which group I fit in tonight. Glad to be here tonight, commissioners. Thank you for what you're doing. Let's pray. Lord, thank you for the privilege to be here today to represent our county commissioners. We thank for them and we appreciate the love they have for Rowan County and the work they do, Lord. Many hours are put in that only people see tonight, and that's it. But they work hard each and every day of the week and the weekend. Pray you'll bless them. Thank you for the privilege of being able to be here tonight. Give them the wisdom they need tonight, and thank you again for this privilege we have tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chaplain Taylor, as always. I tell you, you said something that I'm going to make a comment about the work ahead of time. I just want to mention our county manager, Aaron Church. Aaron is the hardest working guy I think I've ever met, and he won't leave us alone, even on the weekends. We get, isn't that right, Alan? Aaron probably, I mean, it's 1 and 2 in the morning. We're still getting texts from him because he's working on behalf of this community. And so didn't have anything planned to say that, but just off the cuff to say thank you to our county manager for the work that he's doing it 7 days a week and often 20 hours a day. So Aaron, especially in these times with all this legislation that's going on that we're having to wade through and no one has answers. Aaron is reading hundreds of pages of documents a night, literally, to try to figure out what the rights of this community and its citizens are. So Aaron, thank you. We appreciate your time. All right, so I've only got one thing to add to the agenda, and it's a closed session item for attorney-client privilege. We'll add that, if you don't mind, as item 7A. Item 7A, and then I don't have any other additions or deletions. Does anyone else? All right, then do we have a motion to approve the amended agenda? All right, motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, and then the minutes for May 13th, or May 3rd and May 6th have been provided for us. Motion to approve the minutes, please. Motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, then the consent agenda, that's items A through L. No adjustments have been made to those. Motion to approve the consent agenda, please. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, and so we have a special recognition we'd like to make for EMS week. Let's see here. Do you have that for me? That's all right, go ahead. I've got a copy here. Alan, we certainly appreciate your position and what you do. And how many folks work under you? Putting you on the spot.
With part-time, probably around 75.
Okay. It's been a tough year and a half, hasn't it? So a lot of uncertainty, and we certainly appreciate those brave men and women that have been put in a position that no one before them has. And so we want to present a proclamation and go ahead and read this. This is a proclamation for Emergency Medical Services Week, whereas emergency medical services are a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas emergency medical services have grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventive medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. Whereas the emergency medical services team consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now therefore, the Rowan County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim the week of May 16th to 22nd, 2021 as Emergency Medical Services Week with the EMS strong theme, "This is EMS, caring for our communities," and encourages the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. This, the 17th day of May 2021. Commissioners, do we have a second? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And could I ask perhaps the audience if we could give our emergency medical folks. April, are you here, and could you get a picture of us with Alan? Look at her, she just comes right
behind the door.
outside.
We gotta go that way.
Our whereas is included our law enforcement folks too. Why don't you come up with it, Sheriff?
Buckle up. Buckle up.
All right, we'll move on to our next item, and that is public comment period. We've got a few. Let's see. Is it Stacy Gainey?
Yes, sir.
All right, come on forward. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. I guess
Yeah, come on up to the microphone. Yeah.
all right. This is more directed towards Mr. Pierce. I apologize for my neighbors hounding you at what sounds like was a number of phone calls. He called about our dogs, and we came here because we were informed that he was bringing a crowd up here to talk bad about us. So if he's not going to be here to say anything, we're going to withdraw everything. Unless y'all are still talking about a noise ordinance about barking.
I would like for you, while you're here, to go ahead and state why you're here and that the issues that are in the neighborhood, I think you need to tell them that the animal services has been there. They've inspected. They've had conversations, I think, with you and your wife about what we would like to have, and you've complied.
We have.
So I'm well aware of the situation, and I didn't say anything about a noise ordinance of dogs. We've talked about that since I've been on this board.
Oh, no, this is what, I apologize. This is what the animal control officer told us, that they were talking about doing another one. We were just,
Well,
that's what we were worried about.
we technically can't do that because you've got hunters that live out in the western part of the county, like where Jim lives, and northern part of the county, like me and Greg. You know, their dogs hunt, they're going to bark. You know, there's things that we can't do. The only complaint that he really made me aware, and the animal service officer didn't have anything to say, was a noxious odor because of, you know, dogs using the restroom. I mean, that's just what happens. And he was saying that the odor was to the point he couldn't work in his shop and people couldn't sit out by their pools. Well, I don't know that to be true. That's why I did what I should, which was let the professionals go out and make a determination. And, you know, like I said, they told you a couple of things about some shelter that you complied. So I really don't know that there's anything else that can be done that would be detrimental to you and your property. So,
Right. I mean, I was, like I said, I was just here to defend our property, basically. And we were under the impression that he had told you or somebody that there was going to be 8 people coming up here. So
he had reached out to me through Senator Ford. Senator Ford said, well, call Commissioner Pierce, because I've been involved in animal services ever since I've been on this board. And I listened to what he said, and he emailed me and went through a lot of things. And that's when I contacted Clay Martin, who's the code enforcement officer for animal services. This was strictly to have an investigation done so we could see if there was any merit to his claims. And from what they told me, you've complied with everything that was there. So,
Yes.
so I don't know that there's any action that can be taken. I mean, you've got a right to have as many animals as you want. I mean, and we all know dogs are going to bark. And, you know, so I guess what I'm telling you, I understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate you coming to speak. But I really don't think at this point in time, unless I'm completely off base, that there's anything that really the commissioners can do.
I wasn't coming up here actually singling you out. I just wanted to apologize for him bothering you with the situation, is what I'm
When
saying.
you take this job, that's what comes with it. So you just do what you
You can
got to
have
do.
it.
So, you know,
But I appreciate what y'all are doing, and, you know, and I'm sorry it did have to come to this where you had to send somebody out to us, but, you know, like, I love my dogs, and everybody came out to investigate our property, seemed to enjoy our dogs too. So
and there you have it. So,
Well, thank you. Yeah.
thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
and Mr. Chairman, I didn't mean to speak through public comment, but I wanted to clarify for the other commissioners what had gone on.
That was fine. So we've got Ashley on here. Oh, sure. Yes, ma'am. Come on up.
One of our neighbors that actually lives, just to clear everything up, one of our neighbors that actually lives closest to us has came with us tonight to let y'all know there's not a smell, that the dogs are really not a nuisance, just so that y'all kind of got another neighbor's perspective of how we handle our animals. He offered to come with us just to kind of let y'all know that we do everything we're supposed to do. If y'all don't mind listening to that, or if you need to.
You'd like to speak, that's fine.
How y'all doing?
Good, hope you are.
I just want to say,
Howdy, Brooks.
I'm a dog lover myself. I have no issue with any of the dogs they got. I have no issue with any smell. We don't even hear them bark. And I'm closer to him than any other neighbor in the neighborhood. He lives right directly behind me. And I have no issues whatsoever.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much for letting us speak.
Very welcome. Thank you for taking your time.
Have a good day.
All right, we'll move on to item, let's see, number 4. We have a quasi-judicial hearing for CUP 14-99, and that's with Aaron. So I have a speech that I'm required to read. Aaron, if you want to come on up. The hearing for consideration, well, first of all, are you going to have testimony from some folks?
Yeah, I believe there's some people from Southern Power here to
All right, so
speak
you're
as
going
well.
to need to come up and get sworn in, whoever's going to speak. Okay. The hearing for consideration of CUP 14-99 amendment is now in session and will focus on an application submitted by Rowan County Power to add a pole barn to their power generation facility on tax parcel 822007, located at 5755 North Carolina 801 Highway. If you feel any member of the board may have a conflict of interest in hearing the case, please address the board now prior to any testimony or information being presented. When the board enters into deliberations to decide the case, no further testimony may be presented. The board will render one of the following three decisions. One, will approve the permit as requested or with additional conditions. Two, will continue the request, or three, deny the request. All parties who plan to testify in this case may come forward and be sworn in. Those who testify must state their name and address at the podium for the benefit of the board's clerk. All material presented must be given to the clerk and will become part of the record. This board can only accept sworn testimony and no hearsay evidence is admissible. Aaron, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we have the quasi-judicial hearing for the amendment to CUP 1499 at the Southern Power located at 5755 NC 801 Highway. Further reference is tax parcel 822007. So this is a 360-acre parcel that's zoned industrial, and there's been an approved power generation site located right in the middle of the property, and it's been approved since 1999. And the request today is to add a 3,200 square foot pole building to the northern side of the operational area inside the existing facility. If we take a look at the area, it's pretty green and wooded out there. Pulling up the site plan, you can see that the site itself lies in the middle of the parcel, and the closest property line is approximately 1,200 feet away from the fenced-in area. And then when we zoom in onto it, we have the addition of a 3,200 square foot pole building for equipment storage that will be going inside the existing fenced-in area on the compound, so they're not adding anything to the actual operational area. So with this request, there's 7 specific requirements for Section 2164A, but only 6 apply to power generation. And those are the setbacks of all improved areas are 200 feet from a zoned lot line, which the closest lot line is 1,175 feet away. That the separation from residents is at least 300 feet, and the closest resident is 1,700 feet away. That dust, odor, glare, and all accessible roads and storage areas should be at least 20 feet from any property line, and constructed with a paved gravel or crushed stone surface and maintained to be dust-free. All access surfacing already complied with those standards, and there's no new surfacing proposed. The operation, an informed sign should be posted and maintained at all the entrances with the phone number of the operator, the types of materials accepted, and hours of operation. And these items are already shown at the security gate. That the security restrictions, access should be controlled through the use of gates, fence, etc. And currently the power generation facility is gate accessed. And then other special conditions, proof of permit issued by the state in accordance with any applicable general statutes. The addition of the pole building shouldn't require any additional permitting from the state. And then with any other conditional use, there's the 6 conditional use criteria that have to be met as a part of a conditional use permit, and those have already been submitted in your packets today. And then as far as the procedures, there'll be 3 separate motions to adopt findings of facts. Y'all have been provided with example findings today. And then we'll need a motion to approve, deny, or continue the request to amend conditional use permit 1499.
All right. Any questions for Aaron?
Yes, Aaron, is there going to be any electricity on this pole building?
I'm not sure if it is or not.
And the purpose is just mainly for shelter?
For equipment storage.
Okay.
All right.
Are these the same, Aaron, as in your presentation on page 3?
Yeah, the responses.
All right. Any other questions for Aaron? All right, if not, the applicant would like to come forward. If you have any comments.
I was really just going to answer questions. I think they did a great job covering the project. I'm David Mohan. I'm with Southern Power Company in the Development Services Group. I'm a project manager. To answer your question, there will be lighting that'll be included with the facility.
Well, the only reason I ask is he said there wouldn't be any permitting from the state. And like, well, you don't have power, you're gonna have to pull a permit to run that power out to that pole building.
Yes, sir.
So that's
That's just
why I
standard, yeah.
asked. Okay.
Yes, sir. But
Nobody,
if there's no other questions, I didn't really have anything to add beyond the description.
you gonna be able to get power for that light out there?
I think we might have a connection.
I have a connection. That's good.
No, you never build a pole building big enough.
Yeah, that's,
You ought to go ahead and double the size of it right now.
yeah, that's the truth.
Hey, while we've got you here, thank you.
Yes, sir.
For
Thank
investing
you.
in Rowan County.
Thank
You guys have
you.
been great neighbors, great contributors to our community.
Thank you. We appreciate being a neighbor and a community member with you guys.
Well,
Any questions or?
no, I think we're
All right.
okay.
Thank you for your time.
All right, we're going to open the floor to public comment. If there's anyone who has any comments, if you're excited about a 3,200-foot pole barn, if you're adamantly opposed at a 3,200-foot pole barn, if you have a question about what a pole barn is, now would be a good time to ask. All right, not hearing any, we'll close it, and we need, Jim, would you offer up as a motion individually these findings of fact?
I'd like to offer this as a motion that the development of the property in accordance with the proposed conditions will not materially endanger the public health or safety. Let me read the facts. Yeah, read the facts. The request complies with all 7 specific requirements identified in section 21-64A for electric services. The proposed structure is subject to compliance with the applicable building code standards. Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Number 2.
The next motion is that the development of the property in accordance with the proposed conditions will not substantially injure the value of adjoining or abutting property, or that the development is a public, and that the development is a public necessity. In fact, no material evidence was presented suggesting this request would injure property values. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Number 3, the proposal is that the location and character of the development in accordance with the proposed conditions will be in general harmony with the area in which it is located and in general conformity with any adopted county plans. And the fact is that the proposed building is within the existing operational area and not visible from adjoining properties. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, then do we have a motion and a second to approve CUP 14-99?
Motion to approve.
All right.
Second.
Judy and Craig, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all being here. Hey, thank you, Sheriff. I did want to make mention, thinking about it all afternoon, and then it slipped my mind when we began. Mike Caskey, Commissioner Caskey, is not here today. He is working for us in the reserves for the next 2 weeks. And so keep Mike in your prayers. And if you see him anytime soon, thank him for the service he does as a police officer, but also as a reservist for the good folks of North Carolina. So thank you, Mike, for your service, buddy. All right, we have budget amendments been provided. Motion to approve budget.
So moved.
All right, motion a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Jim, financial reports.
Good evening, Commissioners. First graph that we have is the annual cumulative expenditures through April of 2021. The county is at $122.3 million of expenditures so far, which is roughly $300,000 less than last year at the same time.
Woo-hoo.
Could you repeat that?
We are at $122.3 million,
Which is what?
$300,000 less.
$100,000 less in expenditure.
Yes, sir.
Last year, yeah.
Ben, did you get that?
Thank you.
April, next slide. Annual cumulative revenue, $139.1 million, which is roughly $11.2 million more than last year at the same time.
Let's not report that.
Next slide, please.
Next. Next slide is the property tax, which is at 86.3 million through the month of March, which is 1.8 million than last year at the same time. Next slide, April. Sales tax is at 18, a little over 18 million, which is also 1.8 million more than it was at the same time last year. And April, the last slide. The last slide just shows the monthly trend. As you can see, January drops as it normally does, but it's still $500,000 more than last year at the same time.
Be nice if we could annualize that number, huh?
Yes, sir. And that's all I have, unless you have some questions.
Any other comments or observations, Jim?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I make a motion that we enter closed session in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A1 to consider approval of the minutes of the closed session held on April 19th, 2021, and North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A3 for attorney-client privilege communication regarding open broadband contract, opioid litigation, and medical services agreement. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll start as soon as the room clears. All right, we're coming back from closed session. We have a motion to exit closed session. So moved. In a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So we have one item that we need to act on. I make a motion that we approve general terms for early termination of the Medco contract with our sheriff department. That'll include a $50,000 credit to Rowan County. Is that adequate, Jay?
Yes.
Okay.
Subject to a final release.
Right, all right.
Second. Judy can have it.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.